everyone, it's the Tides Changing here, and welcome to part 8 of Let's Build a Mediterranean House. In today's part, we'll put the finishing touches on the exterior, and also lay out the basic floor plan of the inside of the house. Which means that in the next part, we will finally start on the interior, which I know a lot of you are looking forward to. Here I'm just moving that chestnut tree out of the way that was kind of blocking the pool. I made a few changes off camera also. I just deleted a few of the trees, and I also moved the door that was going out of the basement over a little bit so it was centered in there. You'll see it in a little bit probably, but I just made it look a little bit better. Here what I'm doing is changing the fence on the pool area because I didn't like that fence I put there. That was more of a placeholder like I said in the last part. So I'm using the more Mediterranean themed fence that you saw me put up over there, and it just looks a lot better than what was here and really goes with the theme. I just had to delete the rocks in order to be able to change a fence, so you can see it here. And I just really think that that looks perfect in there. And I did want to change the color of it just so it blended in a little bit better. So I was going to make it gray originally, but the gray wasn't really good. So then I changed it to be the same tan as that brick there, as you see me doing here. So I made it a little bit darker. So now I'm just making all the fence like that I already placed. And now I am just changing all the fence to that one. And it just really adds that nice kind of vineyard. It just makes me think of, like this is something that is in, Italy. And, I got rid of those columns that I left there. So here you can see what it looks like with that fence. And now I'm just putting those rocks back in that I got rid of. So another tedious thing. But I like how the rock wall looks. I think it's a nice look. And now I'm just putting in some different rocks to add a little bit of variety so it's not all the same rock going the same way. Now that this side is pretty much done, I have to go over to the other side and do the same thing again. But I think this is the last time that I'm going to have to deal with a rock wall since the outside is pretty much done after this part. And I really like how the outside of it looks afterwards. I think this is definitely one of the best gardens. Probably the best garden I've done. I think it's better than the garden in the Craftsman style house I'm making, but that one's not bad either. I just like this one a little bit more. Here I am taking care of this little where the fountains are going to be. I was going to put plants on top of it, but I decided not to just because I didn't want things to be too busy. Sometimes you have to keep things kind of simple, and there's already enough plants all over the place, so I didn't think that there need to be plants there. Here I'm just putting in the diving board and the ladders. I was going to put a slide in there, which you see me messing with here, but the slide just didn't fit. It just looked too childish, I guess, if that makes any sense. So I left it as just a diving board and the ladders. Now I'm putting in the pool lights and looking at it at night just to see how that looks so far. I ended up getting rid of those lights there just because it looked strange. I felt like it looked better just having nothing on top of it. Like I said, it's sometimes good to keep it simple. Here I'm sticking some rocks in those little slats there. So just so there's something in there, other than just grass and dirt. And here I'm going underneath of it with a dirt terrain paint, and now I'm putting in those small fountains in there. So I think that'll look really pretty just having fountains come out of that. Now I'm going to move over to this little area here where I didn't change the fence. So I'm just getting rid of that there, and what I want to do is put a small outdoor fireplace. So I'm going to use this one from Outdoor Living, this one right here, which it looks like a wood stove that, you would have inside of an old house. So I thought that would really fit in there nicely. And rather than add in the fence there, I'm just putting in this half wall, just as I thought it'd be good to do something different. Plus it makes that area where, there's a roof over it look a little bit less weird. Now I'm going to just furnish this little area over here and also put some lights in first. So of course it isn't dark outside, you can't have that. I'm just putting some of those lights there as well. And unfortunately the vaulted ceiling isn't showing, so I'm going to have to go back later and make it show again. It's kind of a pain in the butt. And here I'm adding in some trellises, which I thought would be a really nice touch, just because, Italian homes have that a lot of the time. So now I'm adding in the low fencing in there, so it just kind of goes out by one tile, so it's not really a big trellis, but it's just a nice detail to the back of this house. And now I'm adding in a heather plant there, which you'll see here. So I just added that plant in there, and I just think that looks really good. Now I'm going over to the other side and doing the same thing there as well. So putting those low fences and then also that same heather plant. So definitely a good detail in here. Now that that is finished, you can see what this looks like. Definitely looks a lot better with those trellises in there. And now I am actually going to furnish this area. So I think last time I said I was going to put a grill in that little area, so I did. I just think that's perfect area for that, and that's the really nice grill from Outdoor Living. And here I'm just putting in this simple table from the base game. Those chairs are from the store, but I just felt like they fit in so perfectly there. I think they're from I want to say it's the Province set. It was the one that had kind of old-fashioned-y stuff. So, you know, I thought that the stuff from it just looked really nice on this house. And here I'm just putting in those park bench chairs. Those I'm pretty sure are from base game. So I was experimenting with putting them close because there's also the issue of I don't want to block the door with them. So I didn't want to have them too close to the door. So I ended up putting them further back there, and I'm making them the same wood as that table is. So I didn't do too much with the furnishing there. I normally don't do much with furnishing outside. I like to keep it kind of simple outside because usually I have so much landscaping that, you know, I don't want to go overboard with the furnishing. And there I'm adding a nice hot tub as well and making the colors match. So that's all the furnishing up on those decks because, like I said, I wanted to keep it simple. And for down the lower area, I'm going to keep it pretty simple as well and just put in 4 of those lounge chairs. So now I'm just changing the color of that one. Then I also changed the color of those chairs, but I'm just changing the color of that to match those chairs, putting another one in there. And then I'm also putting 2 of those same chairs in on the other side. And that is it for the furnishing out there. And it's not a lot, but I think it looks pretty good. That door right there is the one that I said that I moved off camera. I just moved it over one so it was under those windows instead of being over to the side of it. I just thought it would look a lot better for it to be more symmetrical. And now I'm putting some ivy in just because I felt like it needed a little more ivy in the blank spaces. So I put one on the side there, as you can see, and there's also one on that little turret area. And I also was going to put one here, but I felt like the front was already busy enough, so I ended up sticking it over here on that little separate building behind the flower garden. And that is almost it for the outside. The last thing really to do is add the lighting in, since there really isn't a whole lot of outdoor lighting except for what's in the pool area. So that is definitely something that I have to take care of. I did try to experiment with putting the trellises in a few more places, like right here, but I felt like there was already enough plant life there with the ivy and the flower garden. And then I also tried over here, but the issue with this area is that I felt like the courtyard area was busy enough as it is, and it didn't really need a trellis in there as well. Plus, it just looked weird in that particular spot. So I ended up getting rid of it, but I tried, went back and forth a few times just to make sure getting rid of it was the right choice, but I definitely think it looks better without it. There's enough going on in the foyer. And here I'm finally adding all the lighting in. So I'm just adding a few lights in there as well, lights on all the balconies. I did want to say I have good news. I finished the craftsman house that I was working on. I think I mentioned it a few times in this Let's Build, but I finished it last night and I plan on starting working on the video tomorrow. I'm hoping to have it up this weekend, probably Sunday, because I haven't started on yet and it does take a good bit of time to make these videos, and the story I have in mind for it might take a while to get right, but I think if I can do it right, it'll be a pretty cool story. Since the house was built in Moonlight Falls, the story will have a supernatural element to it, so that should be fun to make. And if you're curious as to, how the house turned out, be sure to check out my Twitter because I posted a few pictures of it finished today. And whenever I'm working on a house, I do post pictures of my progress on Twitter, so be sure to follow me if that's something you're interested in seeing. Also, I plan on making my next house a small, or I guess medium-sized into the future house. My idea of small is probably a medium-sized house in reality. It'll probably be smaller than this. And that's just because the Craftsman House and Poinsettia Place were both enormous houses. And I just kind of want a little break from making really big houses. So I'm just going to do something that's, 2 or 3 bedrooms. I'm going to try to keep it to 2. To, like I say, keep it smaller. I'm also going to make it on like a 30 by 30 or 40 by 40 lot, just so I don't go overboard and make something enormous. Because sometimes small homes are nice because since they're not so big, I end up being a little bit more detailed with the interior because I don't get as sick of it and just want to finish it. I plan on being experimentative with the constrained floor elevation sheet for that house, and trying some crazy stuff that I haven't tried in a while. This may surprise some of you, but back when I built The Sims 2 days, I pretty much only built modern homes. Like, I was terrible at traditional. Like, I could not have made a house like this. I don't know what happened when I started building again for The Sims 3, but I just decided that I would rather do traditional, and now I rarely do modern. But that was all I built back in The Sims 2 days, and, I just make these crazy roofs on my houses. I think some of the houses are still out there. The exchange is down, but there were other places I uploaded them. But I just did really crazy stuff with the roofs, and I kind of want to get back to that, and dust off that skill set, try something I haven't tried in a while. So I'm pretty excited about that house. Anyway, the lighting is now done, and as you can see, I started on the floor plan. What I'm putting in here is a study, and those rooms to the left are the laundry room and a small half bathroom, and there I'm just putting in the wall to kind of mark off where the kitchen is. And this little area here will be the dining room, so just putting a wall there. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that. I have to figure out what to do with that later. And that wall there is going to separate the living room area from one of the bedrooms. And this bedroom is pretty big. All the bedrooms are pretty big, but this one may be a little bit bigger than the other two. But like I said before, this is perfect for my Let's Play Sims because, they're 3 adults, so they all get their own big bedroom with its own bathroom, and it's really nice for them. And here, moving on to this separate building here, which, like I said before, is its own bedroom, and there I'm marking off the bathroom. And I was just fixing that tree that was sticking in there, and the rest of it's a bedroom, so that is also pretty big. And now I'm moving up to the second floor, which will be the third bedroom. Once again, pretty big. This one has a little bit smaller bathroom, but I don't think that really matters. Here I was just fixing and putting in quarter height walls there, next to where it's going to be open. So, you don't look up and then just see like a gap between the 2 floors. And I'm just marking off where the closet for that bedroom is, and off to the right is the bathroom, that little room over there. Like I said, smaller than the other 2 bathrooms, but that doesn't really matter. Now I'm just adding all the floors in, and I ran into an issue with leaving the constrained floor elevation cheat on where it raised the level, so I was just turning it off so that I could put in without it messing up. So that is pretty much the finished floor plan. So there's not really a whole lot to this house. It's not really that big, but that's fine. Like I said, I keep doing huge houses, so it's nice to have a break. And I think that this is just a really good sized house. Like, it's not too huge, but it's also a good bit of space. So I'm pretty excited to get to actually furnishing it. And I ended up going back and making that bathroom a little bit smaller because the bathroom was almost as big as the bedroom, which is a little weird, plus the door going outside was off of it. And I was just putting in the foundation there so you couldn't see through to the grass. Now the floor plan is pretty much complete for the first and second floors. I am going to have to go back and make a few tweaks on later, but like I said, you pretty much got the basics down there. Now I'm moving into the basement, and I did have to get rid of that foundation there because for some reason there were hills in the basement, so I had to take care of that. And now I'm just putting everything back to how it was. So the basement is pretty much just going to be 2 rooms. So one part of it is going to be what will be a, relic storage area for my Let's Play Sims, but I will just leave it blank when I put it up. So it'll be kind of a flex area, so you can turn it into an in-home gym or whatever you want. But that is all for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you aren't. Thanks for watching, and bye.